This is January 14th, 2011. I'm Courtney Engel. You're watching Streamlining Social Media, Episode 13. In the news today, we have a few different applications coming out. First up is Google Places has been announced for the iPhone. This one's actually a really great way to see the reviews of what's going on inside of Google. Some of the reviews will come in from Google service Hotpot. That's google.com/hotpot. But some of the reviews also that you would see here are coming in from Yelp and other places. So add this application to your iPhone, or if you happen to be using an Android, I'm sure it's there as well. And you'll be able to see all different types of categories of services and see the reviews that people have. Business owners, make sure you claim your place as well. Also in the news, we have the Mac App Store coming out. This came out Monday of this past week. The App Store actually is an interesting way for Apple to deliver new software and applications for developers to the client in the end. A lot of developers are starting to add their applications to this place. Apple will take 30% of the royalties, and what the application developers find to be useful is that this updates area makes it real easy for us, the consumer, to get in to see these updates and get our software all updated. Just in the first week alone, Evernote stands out among the crowd as gaining the most new users because they are in the App Store. So, check out Evernote in the App Store, and also Angry Birds. Angry Birds is a $5 video game that's taking mobile phones by storm and now makes its way over to computers as well inside the Apple Mac Store. Update your computer if you are running a Mac of any variety to be able to get access into the App Store. Also in the news, we have information coming in from Tunisia. If you're not sure where Tunisia is, it's just across the Mediterranean Sea from Italy, and you can see on the map where it's marked. In Tunisia, the government has been filtering and censoring all sorts of internet information, among other heinous crimes. So the president, I believe, I could be wrong on his term, has fled the country, leaving one of his former staff members to replace him. At this time, he's reported to be in France, but what's interesting about this is that there's a lot of coverage going on in mainstream media that is unrelated to this event entirely. So TechCrunch is reporting in, it wasn't televised, but most of the Tunisia revolution was happening over in Twitter. A lot of people in Tunisia were taking to their phones, including reporters and publicists of any variety, and just the average user that has access. MSNBC at the time was covering, I believe I saw some Martha Stewart coverage of a lip surgery because her dog bit her. Meanwhile, you've got breaking news going on over in Twitter, and that's how they organized through Twitter, through Facebook, and things of that sort. But what's also interesting is that the Tunisian government was not only censoring the internet equally as heavily as China, but also adding in approximately 10 lines of code that, in the end, were capturing users' passwords and login information and all things along those lines. Ars Technica also reports, just again, about the coverage. Their information is basically indicating that the code information was included, but also how the government was overthrown and the organization efforts going on in that case. So while Tunisia doesn't make our news, it does make some pretty interesting social media news. So it was fascinating to watch the Tunisia story roll out, and thanks to Jeff Jarvis, I was able to do just that. Poster has just announced that you can now actually see photos in a slideshow in less serious news. So slideshows, previously you had to, if you wanted to blog using something along the lines of a slideshow, you would put your photos all into something along the lines of either SlideShare or upload them to Flickr and get a slide set that way as well. Posterous now makes it pretty automatic. When you go to add in a new blog post and you upload a couple photos, it will show up as a batch option for the user to view as a slideshow. Pretty interesting. Again, into a little bit more serious news. Facebook, getting tired of all of our Amber Alert updates throughout our Facebook statuses, has teamed up with the US government to create an Amber Alert Facebook fan page. If you want to get to it, it's facebook.com/Amber Alert. And in doing so, what you'll find is a listing of all the states, plus Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and I believe one other. And you could go through and follow each of those pages individually and or follow the main Amber Alert page. So expect information to be delivered in that way. Good job for using social media appropriately. Taking LinkedIn by storm, we have the website Duel. Duel recently got shut down just overnight, but what Duel is doing is matching up LinkedIn profiles, so associates that you claim to have worked with. People were logging in to Duel with the LinkedIn application, and in that case, I saw, for instance, Matt Mullenweg was comparing a few others through Duel. He's the founder behind Automatic, the company behind WordPress, who just had a birthday this past week, in fact. He advertised this one first. I came across that site through his information. But basically, it's kind of like a hot or not for the professional world, and you pick out who you think you would rather work with instead. LinkedIn shut the application down because of simply too many API requests, meaning too many people trying to access this information all at the same time. So we'll see if that reopens. And finally, we have a little bit of information coming in from WordPress itself. WordPress.com is the free version as opposed to the self-hosted WordPress.org area. This week, WordPress.com rolled out learn.wordpress.com, which is a website based around helping WordPress users get completely acquainted with everything about WordPress. So using WordPress.com, how to do all sorts of things with that. Again, that address is learn.wordpress.com. And if you're also so inclined, you could check out WordPress.tv. That is for information related to those self-hosting. Expect information coming out soon from WordPress.org. That has been upgraded, or will be in the process of being upgraded to 3.1 shortly. The core developers, meaning the 13 core contributors, got together this past week. I believe it's 13. And have been sequestered, we'll say, away, being code monkeys and resolving all kinds of issues and brainstorming what next. So expect also some other information from WordPress.org as well. Check those websites out. Again, this is Courtney Engel, and you've been watching Streamlining Social Media. Check out my website for further information. You could also ask me questions at formspring.me/Courtney Engel. Again, that's formspring.me/Courtney Engel. You could subscribe to this episode as a podcast series over at CourtneyEngel.com or in iTunes.